Hi, I'm Alex Weathersby, and this is my web series review for Matchless. Matchless is a mixed-style series about the Devil's Daughter discovering her powers and her complicated feelings for the daughter of an angel. Some things that I really liked about this web series were I liked the mixed style, so the series is done in both a TV style format and also with a few vlog style episodes done from the perspective of Alex, who is the main character. She's the daughter of the devil and a human woman, and she has a whole group of friends and family members helping her figuring out the situation. She starts vlogging what's happening to her, the development of these powers that she has, which seem to be related to her physiology as a part demon, something like that. So she starts vlogging as sort of a catalog of almost a scientific experimentation of what she's now able to do. Something else that I really liked about this web series was the premise. It's very interesting to see a web series that takes on supernatural elements with such a religious bent. A lot of even TV shows that do that wait a while before bringing in religion. Shows like Winona Earp and Supernatural. They don't really tend to go into religion as much when it deals with these supernatural elements, so it was really interesting to see a web series come from that specifically. It's mostly Christian, obviously, with the devil and God and angels. There's mentions of Adam and Eve and Lilith, so it's not very inclusive in terms of the religious supernatural themes it goes into, but it still was very interesting to see a supernatural web series that is solely based on a singular religious belief. I also felt, in terms of the acting, I felt the actress who played Alex's mother was my favorite of the series. She just had a very natural energy. She had good chemistry with the other actors, so her scenes were the most enjoyable for me to watch, and I felt that having her character and the father's character play off of each other and just have her be so relevant to the plot, I think was also a really good choice. With a lot of web series you see, it's almost like these group of teenagers or college-age students or sometimes even kids just running around and getting into wacky adventures on their own. You don't really see a lot of parental involvement. I thought it was really cool that the mom got a character. She got a really interesting combination of scenes with different characters. And I also really liked that, brief spoiler, she and the devil are not currently in a relationship and they don't get back together at the end. I don't see how somebody could leave their kid with you to raise for 10, 15, whatever years and everything be just totally fine once they come back in. So I really liked that they had a very difficult relationship between the two of them, but they still wanted the best for Alex. They wanted her to be happy, they wanted her to be taken care of for the most part. So I really liked that element of this web series. Some things that I didn't like about this web series, there was very slow pacing, and especially the dialogue. There was a lot of fill-in sentences. It took so long for information to be revealed to the audience. Almost every episode had a very formulaic format where characters would refer to something that the audience is not aware of or doesn't have all the information yet, which would then later be revealed over the course of the next few episodes. And after a while, it just got really frustrating just watching the series and having them discuss all these things that we know nothing about, and we'd have to really wait to be parceled out. And because we didn't really have a lot of episodes that centered on what we already knew, every episode felt like it was grasping at straws to figure out new information, and it just wasn't a very enjoyable place to be in as an audience member watching this web series. I feel like with the dialogue especially, there was a lot of little bits that could have been edited out, sentences that were really repetitive. One character would say something and then the opposite character would say the exact same thing in a slightly different way. Being a little bit more conservative and editing the script down to really be tighter would have made a huge difference in the pacing and the energy of this web series. I also felt that there was a little bit of some unbalanced energies with some of the characters. Alex and then her love interest, who is the daughter of an angel, they have a very volatile relationship, but a lot of their scenes felt a little unbalanced to me. One actor would be playing the situation in a very understated, restrained way, and one actor would be being a lot more animated. So it just felt like in their scenes there wasn't a build up to a climax in terms of their argument. and it would just sort of suck all of the air and the tension out of every scene. One character would be already at the climax space in terms of their energy and where they were in the argument, and the other character would still be farther down or have already processed through things, and it just made it really hard to really feel that tension and that intensity of their argument and their chemistry. There also was an odd lack of empathy regarding some of the plot points. Part of the reason that they're very concerned about Alex's powers erupting is that it coincides with all of these natural disasters that are happening. So many people have died in these natural disasters. So there's a lot of question of, is the devil up to something? What's going on? Why are things out of balance? There's still an urgency to fix the problem, but we don't really see any grieving or any mourning, even from the angel character, who supposedly empathy and compassion are really huge elements of her personality. So it felt almost like there wasn't a deep connection to the fact that, oh my God, people are dying. That's really hard to feel like you're responsible for that because you're not solving this issue that's causing those deaths. And I didn't really get that at all. It felt very detached. When you have something that has consequences that are that dire, you really need to be very delicate with the emotional pull. I would watch this web series if you really like series that are a mixture of dramatic and comedy. It's a very lighthearted take on some material that can go very dark. Anytime you work with things that are religious-based, especially if it's the creation story or angels and devils working with morality and death and the afterlife, that can get very dark very quickly. But if you're looking for a web series that has a bit more of a lighter take on it, then this might be a good web series for you. If you like supernatural web series that are focused on characters who are also queer, then this would be a good web series for you. The main character, Alex, is bisexual, and her main love interest is the daughter of an angel, so two women are the main couple here. So if you're really interested in a show similar to Carmilla, where we have a very fantastical and rich premise, and it is being acted out as a queer love story as well, then this might be a good web series for you to watch. And if you really like web series that have supernatural themes, but are maybe a different take from the typical sci-fi, vampires, ghosts, that type of thing, which seem to be a little bit more popular with web series, then this might be a good web series for you to try. I would skip this web series if you're in need for captions for the entire time. The captions tend to crap out. A bunch of the web series that I've been watching lately have had captions that are really good in the beginning, and then they just kind of give up part of the way through. In this web series, around episode 24, the captions stop working as well. I would also skip this web series if you're looking for a lot more action. Most of this web series are characters sitting at a kitchen table or on a couch and dialoguing. So if you're really looking for something that's a lot more visually physical and you want to see fight scenes, you want to see scenes of battle, you want to see more supernatural engagement, even one of the big, or I would term one of the most climactic scenes of two characters discussing the fate of the free world basically happens completely off screen. And also, if you're looking for a multi-season web series or a web series that is much longer, this isn't really the web series for you. I believe this web series has completed its story. It is only a single season. So if you're looking for something that goes for a lot longer of a stretch, has some more world building, more seasons, more backstory for some of the characters, then this isn't really going to give you that if that's what you're really looking for. As always, you can like, comment, and subscribe. If you have recommendations for me, I'll be happy to watch anything people recommend to me, and I hope you have a good day.